Hi, this is Chris Hart, business consultant and author of Bob, the Business Operations Blueprint. You're about to view a clip from the Bob Productivity Metrics chapter. Metrics are simply pieces of data that allow you to get a snapshot look at the health and productivity of your organization. In this video clip, we talk about why you need to have metrics and how you can easily create them. Our metrics give a read on how well we're accomplishing our objectives. As we accomplish objectives, we accomplish our goals. As we accomplish goals and objectives, we go all the way back up to the top of Bob, and we fulfill the organization's purpose as stated in the vision and mission statements. Why have metrics? Metrics are important data points that give a quick and accurate status of an organization's health, profitability, stability, and growth. The metrics can also be an early warning signal about being out of compliance. One of my clients is a school district, and they have very strict compliance dictates that the state gives them. And if there's hundreds of compliance issues that they have to track and measure and monitor and be sure that they are right on top of. Metrics can let you know, like, oh my gosh, we're about to be out of a critical material that we have in our production. It can let you know if you're in violation of a service level agreement. We may have targets for customer service, and these metrics can show us if we're missing those. It can show us when we're getting into dangerous levels of debt, cash, expenses, absenteeism, and inventory shrinkage. As I'm going through all these, you're probably having some more bells go off and like, boy, I can think of a metric I'd like to monitor this or that. Now again, these metrics have to be easy and simple. They have to be easy to collect the data and simple to read the data, because we know if they're not, we're just not going to use them. We've got too much complexity in our life already. We need things in place that help us to be organized and to make our life simpler. And this is the only way that we'll use these. So again, we're just going to start with a few, and we're going to add as many as we need to. So we want to start with defining a single metric for every objective. At least every objective has to have at least one, because you've got to measure it, right? So what we want to do is, what I recommend is picking the top 5 most important metrics for your organization. And I state that by proposing this scenario, is that if you were overseas and you were across an ocean from your organization, and to find out about the health of your organization and how everything is going, there's only 5 pieces of data that you could get every day. What would those 5 pieces of data be? And that's what we're going to call your top 5 metrics. So the top 5, this is walking around information that you got to have to see how healthy your organization is. Now, once you have your top 5 metrics defined, you'll want to review those frequently and regularly. And these should be, if they're your top 5, certainly at least weekly you want to review these, but some are, daily or even hourly. I worked in a call center before, and minute by minute we knew the number of calls that were queued up, the number of calls that were waiting to be answered, how many were dropped, and how many that our operators were able to take. So we, at any one moment, we could look at it, and we had bells and whistles literally go off if they got to certain numbers. If we had a swarm of calls come in and the wait time was going up, then we'd have contingency plans that would roll over to supervisors and executives that would log in and start picking up the calls. These top 5 metrics are what you can use to monitor the critical success factors of your organization. So again, start with 5. You can add as many as you want, as soon as you want, but let's get 5 up and going. Here's some popular ones. I'll read them quickly. Total sales, new registrations, new people that have registered to take a class or are signing up for a course. Hours of billable time, that's one that I track every week, is I want to know how many hours of billable time am I executing with my clients. Job turnaround time. How many new clients have been added this week? Website clicks. This is one that I've started putting in place for every one of my clients that is doing online marketing with me. Profit margins per job. I've worked with contractors before, and that, man, the cycle that you can get into there. It's get this job done as fast as you can because you got to get a draw on the next job to pay the bills from the last one, and they're wondering, am I making any money here? Well, we set up some simple guidelines that could tell them exactly how much profit they were making on each job, but it had to be quick because they're like all of us, they're working fast on job to job. How many on-time deliveries did we produce this month or week? Jobs that require rework. This is an important one for a lot of people because it gives them a view back into their quality control. Maybe if you see the number of jobs that are having to go back and be redone, well, of course, you've already been paid once for that, and that probably is a dead expense for your technicians, or just waste if you have to throw the product away, or rework time. Average invoice amount. This is one that I track with a client of mine currently that I'll actually show you a graphic of in a minute. And product returns. How many products are being brought back? Total accounts receivable, total accounts payable. Those are critical financial numbers, and we'll talk even more about those in detail in the financial plan and review section. But maybe you need a quick number that you look at every week. How many products were sold today or this week? Inventory levels. These are, as I list these and you look through them, you're probably thinking of 3 or 4. You might want to jot some down in your paper now that, or circle ones here that would be very relevant for you or your clients. Okay, let's go ahead and move on about how to collect your metrics data. We've got a form that we're going to use, but let's talk about that just a second. You need to have a documented plan of how you'll collect your metric information. It can't be random, and it can't be when I get to it and if I have time. It's got to be simple, but it's got to be done per your time period. So for every metric, you want to answer the following question. Why is it important to track? How many times have you or somebody that you work with said, why do we have to keep up with this information? Nobody knows. We've just been doing it for 10 years. Well, maybe you don't need to track that information. Or maybe it's really, really important and the person collecting it could benefit greatly from knowing why it's important. Where does this information reside? We're going to talk in detail about these. What format is it in? How do you access the information? Who will collect the information? And when is it going to be collected? Let's talk about why it's going to be, why this information is important. So remember that every objective will have at least one metric that will measure your success in accomplishing or completing that objective. Now, again, if the metric is uninteresting or unimportant or irrelevant, then don't track it. You don't have to. Only set up systems to track information that's exciting and relevant to managing your business. Now, I don't mean just feel-good stuff, but I'll tell you what's exciting to me, and that's growth and profit and forward motion. Those are things that are exciting. And yes, we have to deal with the mundane items and challenges that come up in running our business, but I'm driven by excitement. So I want to put things out there that as I look at, it encourages me and excites me to help do a great job. The more clutter you have in your metrics, the less likely you'll be to use them. That's why I say start with 5, don't start with 100. Just start with your top 5.
The video clip you just viewed is from one of the 12 chapters of Bob, the Business Operations Blueprint. Each Bob chapter is laid out in an easy-to-read presentation format and comes with a full set of digital files that include worksheets, registers, templates, and certificates that you will use over and over again to develop your own customized Bob. Your Business Operation Blueprint will help you run your organization more profitably, more productively, and enable you to have a whole lot more fun along the way.